Okay. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to the Star Vehicle. Strap the fuck in.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Sit down.
Pull your lap bar over your lap and help the person next to you
Oh my God. All I want to do is go to a theme park.
Me too.
When you said lap bar,
You're like, you had a sensory experience, right?
I knew. I was like, I'm at Six Flags.
It was Nitro, wasn't it?
Yeah. And they're not telling you to put the lap bar on. I'm doing it myself because they forgot. So it's like, I'm going to be the safety monitor because I know they're not.
Wait, so you love roller coasters, right?
I like roller coasters, but I can tell I won't get on every roller coaster. I can eyeball it and I can tell pretty quickly whether or not I'm going to enjoy that ride or not. Some of them I don't like.
What's your criteria? Does it what upside down? Is that what you're looking at?
I don't like anything. I tend to not like the ones with the big harnesses that go over.
See, I like those because you're really strapped in. But what is it?
The worst ride ever is
Let's
for
hear it.
me.
Superman.
It's at Superman, where you're like horizontal. Your belly to the ground.
You're like
the most humiliating part about that ride,
it's
if you're not
humiliating.
is that okay, you get in the ride, they like sandwich you forward, like press you down to the ground, and then you go up and you do the ride, and I guess it's somewhat similar to flying if you were like being dragged in like a steel carton behind an airplane. But what's worse is that I guess they have like 3 like trains of this going at a time. So when you're done and you're going back to the station, you're then just hanging there for like 15 minutes waiting for the other ones to load and unload. And the whole time
and
you're
the
just
blood's
like
rushing to your forehead and you're just
blood is rushing to your forehead. And I'm just like, what is preventing these locks from just opening? Like, I'm 70 feet above the ground right now.
Oh my God, my cheeks hurt so bad because like when Superman came out, it was such a novelty. Like everyone ran to Six Flags to go on this ride, and I forced my family to wait 3 hours in line for it. They were like, "Come on, let's just go."
So bad.
They're like, "Let's go."
So bad.
I'm like, "No. We will not be leaving this line. We waited 3 hours, and I'm gonna try to describe it for
in the heat, no less.
Oh my God, dripping sweat down your back. I'm gonna try to describe it for the pod listeners, but we are on video, so find us on YouTube if you want. But like, you're right, they put you on your stomach, but like, your legs are still kind of like your knees are bent. So you're not even like really in a flying position. You're just kind of
you're not how
like
you're not.
seated,
That's
but, like,
not how
tipped
Superman
forward.
would fly.
And the harness over your shoulders, at least for my stature, means I actually can't extend my arms fully up. Like they're just kind of like
you're like crunched.
So you're kind of just like, imagine being in tabletop on the floor.
Yeah.
Arms out, knees on the floor.
Tabletop. That's what it is.
You're doing tabletop in the air. So you're not even, so you're flying, but it's like very not aerodynamic. And
they have
really
another
ruins the
terrible
illusion.
one there. They have another terrible one where they were like, okay, flying wasn't enough. We're going to do a standing roller coaster.
Oh,
Have you
that Green Lantern? Is that what
yeah.
it's called?
The green where you're just vertical going through the roller coaster. I was like, this isn't right.
I know, and like you're feeling all that like force just like compressing your joints. What we won't do to feel something. Being a human being is so weird.
It's weird. That's why I said, like, now I respect myself enough. I won't get on any roller coaster. I'm like, you know how like sometimes you would try to drag your parents on a ride knowing that they wouldn't like it?
Yeah.
And the classic retort from them would be like, I'm going to watch it first to see what it does. Now that's what I'm at that point in my life. I won't just go on the ride. I need to watch it to see what it does before I'm willing to get on.
Every time I'm in line for a roller coaster, I'm like, am I really doing this? Am I going to do this? And I always like almost back out every time, but I always do.
Yeah. I don't have the same like zest for thrills that I guess I once did at a theme park.
I'm kind of shocked because you don't love a scare. So
no, and I think like that is what has changed. Like I'm not seeking that thrill.
Yeah.
I don't want the machinery to scare me. I want to feel comfortable.
You're like, I understand a little too much about physics now. This is scary. Not going.
Well, now I'm just like, whenever anyone says like, oh, my favorite part is when it feels like you're going to slip out of the seat.
Nope.
I'm like, no.
No.
I was like, really? That's crazy, because that means you're going to slip out of the seat and you're going to die.
Because when they compress you in there, it's real tight. And then you get in the air and you're backward, and then you just feel that gap.
You feel the little ooh.
You feel like the 2 inches between your stomach and the piece.
And then you just like, you clench your legs to like stay under the bar.
People at home who don't like roller coasters are like, okay, moving on.
Yeah. Anyway, that concludes our theme park review. That concludes our
commercial for Six Flags Great Adventure. Let us know if you go. Don't forget to bring 2 Coke cans for $15 off.
Our dream is to make enough money to one day have a corporate trip where we both go to Disney World.
We just had some technical difficulties, friends.
Yeah.
We were talking about roller coasters.
Much like the roller coasters of my fears, of my nightmares.
Of his deepest, darkest fears.
Yeah.
We were talking about roller coasters, and then I think like it was a very natural conclusion. And we were like about to segue.
It came to rest.
It came to a very nice conclusion. And we were like, okay, now time to tackle the roller coaster that is Cruel Intentions. This was a wild ride.
It was a wild ride. And I remember the first time that I saw this movie, and I've already shared this with you, but I'll repeat it.
Yeah,
the first time I saw this movie, I had severe comprehension issues. I didn't understand.
Didn't get better.
And this time it was just as complicated. I found it very hard to keep track of our players and who was related to who and who wanted what. I wish I would have had a little chart or something.
I finished that movie and I went, cool. So when we talk about this tomorrow, I'm going to ask Steven to explain it to me. Because that's normally your job for me.
It's hard. It's hard to unravel what these characters wanted.
Yeah.
But then
I was out.
But then I really realized that what this movie is, and why I wish I would have seen it when it would have been inappropriate as a teen, is that like what is so fun about this movie is that it's really like it's like Lord of the Flies in a nice location. Like it is teenagers running amok in luxurious locales. Like there's no adults in the movie except for like the therapist and Christine Baranski.
I was going to say that.
She's like not really she's not really parenting. She's just like watching out for her own image.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, it would have been inappropriate for me to see this as a teen.
Yeah.
And I would have gotten the wrong idea of what being a teenager was, truly. But
I would have not wanted to go to high school.
That's what I'm saying, because this is what, like 99, I want to say?
99.
So, I mean, we were children, so it would have been weird if we saw this in 99. Just get that on the table.
Yeah.
But you're right. I was so struck by the lack of parental supervision.
Yeah.
There's
and
none.
But then I was like, you know what? There was that show on Bravo called NYC Prep, which was about
in there
teens like in prep schools in New York City. And that show also noticeably lacked parental supervision. So like, I think that part of it is rooted in something true. And I think what makes the movie so fun is that like this is what would happen if teenagers were left to their own devices.
Was that your like working theory at this point?
Yeah, I thought this is actually a good movie. This is a very pro-parenting movie, actually, if you think about it.
Be involved or else.
Be involved or else this happens. They should show this at parenting classes.
This movie, man, was wow. I mean, okay, I think it's every teen's fantasy to have the run of the roost.
Yeah,
the way
rule
these
the
kids
roost.
rule the roost. No parents. So
No
it definitely
parents.
is a teen fantasy. It was a fantasy of mine. Oh my God, a free house? Are you kidding me?
But like
And
a
then
free house
have
would
money?
come in the afternoon for 2 hours when your parents went out to do chores or like errands and they felt
Errands.
comfortable leaving you home And you would usually just like watch something on TV, not this.
You make 2 Pop-Tarts and you saddle up to some cat dog.
Yeah, you eat in front of the TV or something like that.
Yeah, where they're like, you can't eat in the TV room. I'd be like, well, watch me, bitch.
Yeah, actually don't watch me because I'm going to do it behind your back.
Yeah, just like the packaging's like, gotta be really careful.
Yeah, so that was sort of my working fantasy of what I would do home alone. This was different.
This was just a little different.
This was different.
I couldn't believe it. Believe it.
And you know what this movie did remind me of? And was like this debate where it's like, or I think it's very modern, where people are like, we need to listen to teenagers. We need to hear their valid points of view. And when I watched this movie, I was like, I don't think we should. I wouldn't have listened to my opinion at that age or taken it seriously. And
yeah, it was
I bet they would all look back on this and say, maybe we would have done things differently. But we were just kids. We're just kids.
Yeah, like adult, what's her face? Catherine is like, such a...
mistakes.
I made some mistakes, but I was a kid.
Yeah, I was a kid. Okay.
It's like you needed a program.
Yeah,
you needed
help, but
they all need so much
that was
help.
that was really my way to work through the movie. Is that they're these kids, they say things, they do things that are, I guess, inappropriate then, certainly inappropriate now, but they're acting as teenagers. For lack of it is what it is.
If you're listening at home, I'm just shaking my head. Just SMH.
I can't excuse their behavior.
I can't.
But
Pause for 2
they're
seconds.
also like young. Okay.
Sorry, you're so loud in my ear, and I can't figure out why.
Really?
And it's like I have my computer audio set to like really low, but you're like, I can hear it it's like screaming.
Okay,
it's not your fault. It's
okay,
just
what about is it better now?
Maybe a little.
What about, should I move the microphone back a little bit?
Yeah, move the microphone back. Try that.
Okay. How's that?
Still so loud.
It's still really loud.
And my only issue is that I'm definitely going to be picking you up.
Weird.
But
I'm trying to think what else we did. Maybe should I drag the audio down, the volume down?
Try it. Yeah, try it.
What did we have it down to?
-12. The thing is, I think that it's a glitch in my computer because I have my computer audio. Every time I set it lower.
What about now?
My computer audio is not responding to me setting it lower. So I think it's like a glitch in being in this video chat
because
right now.
Looking at the like register,
you're
the
good,
peaks, right? They're very similar to what
we're used to.
I'm used to. Nothing is like.
Yeah, if anything, I would say just try to sit back on the mic more than usual, just because I can hear you, and then I'll also sit back on it so I don't get you too much. Okay. That is so annoying because we were on such a roll with this movie.
No, it's okay because I think that your same reaction to my loud volume, your disapproval mirrored your disapproval of how these people were behaving in the movie.
Yeah, it's like they're behaving in the worst way alive, like personality disorders, left, right, center.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
For sure.
But I think that's the point, right? I did want you to explain it to me.
I think
it seems like we're both confused.
Yeah, I think like this is also like in an age before ideas of self-help and working on yourself. Like it was, I think there's something charming about this time period about being a mess mentally, right?
Charming mess.
Yeah, like it was kind of like aspirational.
Yeah,
to be
just
like
what was
us.
the message if you were a teen in 99?
Because we're watching Yellow Jackets now, and like it takes place in the 90s. Not we, you're not part of it, somebody else. And
someone else.
But what's very prevalent in that series, which is about 90s like nostalgia, is like this idea of like the psychotic character. And like,
yeah, it was big.
It was like very generic psychotic. And like
Yes.
There was something like the you didn't look at that character and be like, oh, like I wonder what their journey will be to get better. The journey was like, ooh, I want to see them spiral out
The journey is their downfall.
and knock
that's
everyone
it.
else over. And like that's what this reminds me of, which is that like
Yeah.
you didn't watch this movie looking at Ryan Phillippe's character being like, ugh,
Hope he
I can't
learned
wait. I
something.
can't wait for him to go back to therapy. It was like, no, like we actually cheered when he got the therapist mad and we knew he would never go back. It's like it's a very different way of looking at mental health.
It's very tongue in cheek. It's camp. It's satire, and it's like you're right. That's actually a hilarious opening scene that he's with a therapist, straight up, just like showing how much he's gives no shits about therapy.
Well, that
And he's
and
playing psychological, quite literally psychological warfare with the therapist.
right. Well, that and the fact that she is completely unprofessional and incompetent.
Exactly.
So like the movie opens. Actually, you know what's weird about the movie opening is that the first shot is actually
we get that sweeping aerial
of
a cemetery.
a cemetery.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
because I actually forgot the ending.
Oh yeah, okay. So
Which
worth
I actually
noting,
yeah.
I have seen this as well, and I was shocked when we got to the end.
Yeah,
Forgot.
I was sort of shocked. I didn't really remember it. So anyway, it shoots over a cemetery and then it goes to the therapist's office and like she's so unprofessional. And this is what made me start thinking about like this idea of being psychotic in like that 90s sense where it was like therapy was like a joke. It's not real. That's sort of like what
you called it
they're
a shrink. You're like, I'm at the shrink.
yeah, like she's basically a con artist, right? Like she's just there to sell her book and then she's going to go on a speaking tour.
She's like, other people need my help too.
Yeah.
Take my book.
Yeah. So we're not invested in therapy in this movie. And
It's not going to be that kind of movie.
no.
Not going to be that kind of movie.
No. But it's weird. I did like the only saving grace about the first scene was, and I wish we got more of her, but I thought this was probably Tara Reid's best acting I've ever seen.
Tara Reid.
Her daughter.
That was
Exactly. Okay, that proves my point. Yeah,
I
Wasn't she good?
completely forgot, and she really disappeared into it.
She
was like, "Mommy."
exactly.
That was so
I thought she
funny.
did really well in that scene, and
She committed. She definitely committed.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So Ryan Phillippe's character posts inappropriate photos of Tara Reid on the internet,
Oh,
who
yeah.
is the psychologist or therapist's daughter.
Yeah, he kind of puts the moves on the therapist first, and you're like, whoa, this is inappropriate. He's like, you have such nice legs. I would love to take pictures of them. Cut to
Ugh.
daughter, Tara Reid, crying on the phone. Mom, he said I have such nice legs. You want to take a picture of them? And she's like, Sebastian. And it's like her vendetta against this teen, this
Yeah. Well, this
sociopath.
And this scene also, because besides her and maybe two other characters, so those are the only adults that we have. But in this first scene, she is essentially in like a glass box, banging on it, yelling at Ryan Phillippe. And
Yeah.
it was like, she has no power over this child.
Yep.
None of the adults have any power. Even the police officer is in that little glass cube. And like they have no way to stop him. Like
yeah, it's so clear.
it's so
From
clear.
the first frames,
Animals
like, what
are
this
like
movie's gonna
animals
be.
are out at the zoo. It was
They have
like
free reign.
free
When we say
reign.
rule the roost,
We mean it.
we're actually not kidding.
No, we mean it.
They have
And
free reign, and it's like everyone's fantasy. I feel like this is very Gossip Girl. It's just like you just want to have money in New York City, just be
Yeah.
rich.
and it's also a weird scene because the mom, yeah, she's mad at him for posting them on the internet, but she's actually more mad at Tara Reid.
At her daughter. How could you fall for it?
How could you be so
This
stupid?
movie has eerie similarities with True Lies.
True.
What's the
True
Jamie
Lies?
Lee Curtis one?
Oh, True Lies.
Yeah, wow, I was about to call it True Intentions.
What's that movie we did 4 weeks
3
ago?
weeks ago. We're rusty, you guys. No, True Lies, because nothing sticks to the man. It's all
Oh,
just like,
nothing.
what did you do? to deserve
He's like
this.
he is
the
presented to us as
point.
like a wounded bird who he only gets better in the eyes of the movie as the movie goes on. At least that's what they want you to think.
Scot-free. He gets, oh my gosh, clean reputation.
Yeah,
He's
basically.
fine.
But
this movie is about ruining Sarah Michelle Gellar's life, basically.
But
And,
she does a great job.
She ruined a lot of lives. I have to hand it to Sarah Michelle Gellar. I would have read the script and I would have been like, I don't get it. You know, like in the way that you're in your low 20s, how are you making decisions like this about movies?
Yeah.
Maybe if I were older, like Christine Baranski, she probably understood the joke, the satire, the camp. At 22 or however old Sarah Michelle Gellar would have been, I would have been like, I don't get this. Like,
well,
explain
quite
it.
literally, and we'll get to the scene, but like
And
when
we don't
her
get it. Let's be clear.
and her brother do like major plot exposition in the beginning, I could not follow it for the life of me.
Yeah.
But
so there's that backing track. It's sexy. It's snazzy. It's ping pongy.
yeah,
And they're setting up some sort of bet.
they're setting up a bet
Vendetta?
okay, but before the bet scene, we actually meet Selma Blair, and Selma Blair is with her mom, Christine Baranski, and we find out that I guess she's going to be going to the same school that Sarah Michelle Gellar goes to, and her mom basically wants her to be her buddy, to help her.
Okay, thanks, Mom.
But
my mom never cared.
But I think it's funny though, because it definitely comes from, and I think it was sort of dying out at this time, like this idea of high school is this hard to navigate place, which was like not my experience by the time we went to high school.
Very easy to navigate.
Very easy to navigate.
I was just fine.
But it very much comes to that place where it's like the parents are powerless over high school. Only the kids can help you understand how to do it.
Yeah,
like,
I get that. You're right.
Like in a film today, like we would see somebody meeting with like a crooked counselor who's like going to help Felicity Huffman's daughter go to somewhere else. But like that's not the interest right now. The interest right now is like she needs somebody to like help her in the hallways because that's what's important.
It's like high school at this time is eat or be eaten, and we are
Literally.
going to introduce you to the apex predator right now.
Yeah,
Here she is. And
but
that was so 90s or like late 90s. It felt very what's the other Shakespeare, Taming of the Shrew, whatever.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, I think what further illustrates that idea is that like her mom or Selma Blair's mom is basically coming to kiss Sarah Michelle Gellar's ring. And then while she's there, she recoils in horror at seeing Ryan, Phillippe's character. And again, it just like, it furthers this idea that like the parents are, not only do the parents have no control over the teens, they're actually scared of them. Like she started shaking and she had to leave.
Stay away from that Sebastian fellow or whatever. Did you hear what he did to so-and-so? And he comes in and goes, I hear she's still recovering. Like he picks up where she left off in the line.
I did like Selma Blair's koala t-shirt. That was cute.
That was fine. She's giving similar performance in The Sweetest Thing.
It is.
It's clueless. It's like they really went full bimbo on it or something.
It's weird because this is total like of the time bimbo performance. Like she's not dialed in. And
no, I know. It's kind of confusing. It's like she's not really playing to the top of her intelligence. So
which is weird because when I think of Selma Blair, I think of her performance in Legally Blonde, where she's like super cold and cunning and calculated. And it's like, that's what I think of with Selma Blair. This kind of like askew, like not really on this planet Selma Blair is, I mean, I enjoyed it, but it felt like she was playing like against type maybe.
That's exactly right. I feel like this is a miscast, or they just were trying to get to know her maybe in Hollywood. And
it's almost like they didn't know what to do with her.
Yeah, it's not the prototype. This is not her thing. And I'm like, why is she being cast as this like idiot? That would be like me being cast as the dumb character. You just wouldn't do it.
Wouldn't get it. Wouldn't make sense.
They'd be like, why are they casting this smart girl?
She's like acting in a weird corner. But like Ryan Phillippe, he's also like, I don't know what he's doing. It's like, it's a combination of like overacting and like
acting. I couldn't stand him in this.
Yeah, it's almost like he read a book about how to modulate your voice for different scenes, and then he's like, I'm going to do that for the whole movie. he was like
Yeah, in the
whisper
same
acting
pattern.
and like
Well, sister of mine. I'm like, it was like a lot of lip acting.
a lot of lip
It
acting.
made me really pause and think, I've truly never seen Ryan Phillippe in anything else ever.
Never.
So I have nothing to compare
Nothing
to.
to compare it to.
So I'm like, is he doing the most here, or is he just being himself? I really
Right. Well, that
don't
was my
know.
other thing. I was like, maybe this is
My
his
fault for not
this
seeing
is
more.
his best. This is his best work.
I think
Maybe.
he's turning in his best, truly.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's
Hard to
just
tell.
Such a weird. They're two weird characters. Catherine and Sebastian. They're step siblings, right? Their parents have married each other.
They have to be step siblings.
Yeah, because they want to fuck. And
They
you can
want
fill in
to
the blanks.
They want to get to know each other on a more intimate level.
They
And
want to Game of Thrones each other.
yeah,
Pre-Game of
they arranged like this bet where Ryan Phillippe initially what Sarah Michelle Gellar wants him to do is to ruin Selma Blair,
Yeah.
but he decides instead he's
I'm like,
going
I think she's gonna ruin herself. She's kind of dumb.
he's going to target Reese Witherspoon's character Annette, who we haven't met yet because she's like the daughter of the new headmaster or something like that. But to be honest, this scene, and this is the second time I've seen this scene, I found so confusing. Like it's hard when a movie references characters early on that you haven't met yet, like by name.
And
By first name.
They're trying. They're like showing you the article where they're like Annette, and you do have some facial recognition. You're like, okay, Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah,
Cool.
but at least for me, I found it really hard to really grapple with like why this matters and like who these people are and like why we're doing this. Like I understood.
There's no why.
There's no why.
There is
Well,
no
that's
why. Like that's the thing. You're like, why?
They're
Are
just
we
teens.
Are we bored?
They're acting
and that's
up.
It.
They're acting up.
They're straight up bored. It's
Yeah,
just like,
they're bored.
I have an idea. Let's ruin so and so. And he's like, no. Let's ruin this girl because she's a bigger challenge. And sister's like, I like the way you think. Okay, let's make this interesting.
Yeah.
If you succeed, I'll sleep with you, brother.
Yeah. So I think if you walk away from the scene and all that you know is that they're being a little manipulative or calculating, you're good. Like that's all you need.
Point. You got it.
You got it. Because the plan does change. So it's also like
the plan changes quite a few times. It was about power, right? It's about these two literal sociopaths, probably with bipolar disorder, among other things.
Yeah.
And they're really trying to one up each other. They're always trying to have the upper hand. You really are like, who has the power here? And we leave the scene going, okay, great. Bet is in order. Who's gonna win? Let's watch.
Who's right.
One of these two
is gonna win something by doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah. If Catherine wins, she gets his car. His like
I knew
car.
That was clear.
That was clear. If Sebastian wins, he gets to sleep with his sister.
His
She'll
stepsister.
finally give it up to him.
That's nice. Those are equal prizes, I guess, in the eyes of the movie.
They seem equal.
They
seem great. One has a little better resale value.
Oh my God.
Not mad about it.
Not mad about it. So then Ryan Phillippe is like,
crazy town. We're in crazy town.
Ryan Phillippe is like, okay, got it. I'm off to do my thing with this girl, Annette. And he goes to somewhere and Reese Witherspoon is there on horseback. And
I know. Where does he go?
I don't know where the mansion was.
Family mansion?
But that woman also wasn't her mom.
It was like a maid. Oh, not maid.
She wasn't the maid, but the woman on the horseback, like the older, more distinguished woman, was like a woman of the house, like maybe a relative or something. I couldn't quite place who she was, but I did look up, and I was surprised to see that it was the same lady from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, I missed that. I was sleeping in class when we played that.
Okay, got it. So anyway, what did make me laugh about this scene, because again, I didn't really know who Reese Witherspoon was. I certainly didn't know who the older woman on the horse was.
Also, Why does she just have an article in 17 magazine? Can anyone just get one?
Anyone can I think, you know what? Okay, that's a good point.
Can anyone just submit?
I think that was part of the mystique of 17 magazine, is that there was always the thrill that like you could be a part of it.
Maybe. I did.
I
Want
think
an
it
article
was.
in 17
I think
when
it
I
was.
younger.
Like they would have like high school reporters like write in about like
real girl talks about fundraising in her local town.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and then there'd be a celebrity being like, "Here's how you lose your cellulite."
Yeah, exactly. I think it sold the false opportunity that you could be in the pages one day.
Yeah. Because I'm seeing Annette, Reese Witherspoon's character, in the pages of 17, and I'm going, okay, she's going to be a little unattainable. Like, where do we find her? Just go to her house. Just go to her house.
But it's not really her house, because later in the movie,
it's like her like vacation home. It's summer break, and they're rich. They're all rich.
Right. And, I guess it's like great. I guess we're living in like a Great Gatsby world where this is probably somewhere on Long Island somewhere in terms of like Hamptons-y type place. But
yes.
What's funny about this scene is, again, we're in an undisclosed location with two characters we don't even know. And then they hear like this car make a sound. And then the older lady goes, "Oh, that must be Ryan Philippe's character." And I was like, why? Why would it be?
That must be Sebastian. Why would it be him?
Why would it be him? I was so confused.
Do you notice how everyone in this movie seems to know each other? And
everyone knows each other.
Where, from how? Geographically, this doesn't even make sense.
Well, what's fun about the movie is that they lead you to believe that there are 10 people in New York City. And what's actually really funny about that too is that at the very end, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Reese Witherspoon don't meet until the very end
until
of the
bathroom scene. Yeah.
When she says to her, "Have we met?" I was like, "Wait, have they met?"
I was like,
they haven't.
They haven't met.
So that was strange.
This is an intimate cast. Let's just say it's teeny, small.
Yeah. Well, okay. Now I understand why you're confused or thinking that that woman is a maid, because he does say to her, "Go in and make that iced tea that you're famous for."
Yeah, he treats her like the help.
I was like, I don't think she makes the iced tea, but they so he shoos the woman away.
Yeah, the kids have control,
and he takes her on like an aggressive walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that, not that it was like I wanted it to happen, but I did think that there was arguably more chemistry between the two of them than perhaps Sarah Michelle Gellar and him. Like, yeah, on a surface level,
sexy. This movie's
it was
sexy.
hot.
And like they do end up getting married and having children together.
Well, I know.
No, I know you know that. Okay,
yeah.
I'm not making a judgment call on your smarts.
But I did feel something. I felt something
that,
in this
and
scene.
I'm like, kiss her now.
Right now. Do it.
That would have been a problem, because she's very much so like, I've got your number. I've heard about you.
Yeah.
I am steering so clear of you. And he's doing that like, what do you know, sweet? Like, his thing in this movie is disgusting.
Right.
It's the character, but it's like,
it's the character, but I do think that there are ways to play it where it's perhaps less sleazy. Because his character really isn't sleazy. It's like, he could be charming. I don't know.
Yeah.
It comes across really sleazy. But it's
just gross, and it's hard to reconcile. But,
yeah. And he can't believe that she has a negative impression of him. So he wants to track down who was responsible for giving him this information. And we have a brief detour with
the B plot of this is kind of wild.
What I liked this B plot because it truly was a B plot. It was introduced and wrapped up in 15 minutes.
You're talking about the framing of the boy, right?
I'm talking about the framing of the gay football player.
Okay, yeah. So that's not even a B plot. That's like a Z plot.
It's a Z plot.
Let's introduce it and then let's just wrap it in
We never see Joshua Jackson again, I don't think.
No. Is that Greg? Because then he's on the
No, Joshua Jackson is
the gay guy.
Well, they're both gay, but the out gay guy.
The out gay guy. know
The one with the
myself.
frosted tips is,
I have to
is
end
Joshua
this podcast
Jackson.
right now. I've just misspoken. He's the gay one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, is this subplot okay somehow because he's okay with it? That's kind of where my mind was going.
And that's where I'm going to have to ask you to just like drop the lens of is it okay? Because they are teens.
The whole movie.
They're
We need to
teens.
just drop it.
And in their world, this is
okay.
Fine. Because they're problem solving to the best of their abilities. And to that I say, okay. Now, is it right? No.
No.
No. But again, they're not bouncing their ideas off of anyone. This is what happens to help. This is what happens when you just pick the first idea you have.
This is literally it.
And that's what it is.
So many plans being made over a flip phone.
Yeah. But what's funny
and Ryan Phillippe is making it work. What's
funny about Joshua Jackson's character is like he's also terrible too. Like
he's a horrible person. He's like, I will totally help you frame
this guy.
Man I'm sleeping with.
Because he's gonna frame the other gay guy, Greg, I think, who's the football player, because he assumes that he's the one that told Reese Witherspoon.
He's the informant. So we're gonna try to frame the informant. And Joshua Jackson is like, I think Spartacus is on tonight. And Ryan Phillippe is like, great, I'll be there with a camera in hand.
He's like, right on time, right outside the door.
So we find out from Joshua Jackson out gay.
Yeah.
That they sleep. Feel free to call me out at any point.
No, because this is the world we're living in.
It's the
like,
movie.
Let's be real, okay?
Guys, we're really just trying to level with you. Like, I'm not here to reinvent anything.
No, this is what it is. Let's just anyway.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, Spartacus is on tonight, so you know what that means. Come through.
Yeah.
And the second Ryan Phillippe pushes into that room and they like scramble, Greg's like, give me my underwear. Ryan Phillippe's got that camera out and Joshua Jackson's filing his nails. Sits back and just lets it happen.
He made choices as to how he was going to approach and develop this character, and it is what it is.
It is what it is. It's committed to celluloid.
There's no working around it.
Nope. He did what he did.
But it happens.
Hopefully he can sleep at night and he feels good about it.
I think he's sleeping just fine.
Yeah,
I think he's sleeping just fine. But but we find out that Greg didn't inform.
Yeah,
her.
So the Z plot pointless. Let's just out someone for the sake of it, because it's like probably really salacious in the late 90s to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And
let's just do that.
And they instead, and
if this movie's anything, it's salacious.
It's so salacious. But then he's like, listen, I have a new idea for you, and I want you to say really nice things about me to her. And he does.
Yeah, so he's got the evidence now. He's got him framed. A lot of blackmail, let's just say.
Yeah.
A lot of blackmail in this movie. A lot of convoluted blackmail. It's like, well, I have this. Well, I have this.
Yeah.
Well,
it's hard to tell who's on top, like who's winning.
It's really hard to tell who's winning. It's just
until the very
is the
end.
Most pompous and does the most squinty acting is like, oh, he's got the power, or she.
That's
or
right.
She. And yeah, so he's got it, and then they're like, okay, Greg, go talk him up to Annette. And again, we see like a classic scene of a man manipulating a woman, which is my favorite kind.
Yeah.
Favorite kind of dynamic between
That's right.
Man and woman. Adam and Eve. He is like tales old as time.
That's
He's like,
right.
look, Annette, you're like a sister to me. I love you. Would I steer you wrong? Sebastian, good guy. Good guy. Don't be afraid. Ignore, you know that gut instinct you have around him? You feel kind of weird? Ignore it.
That's right.
Because you're wrong. We wonder why, like,
I mean, Greg's not a great guy either. Like, he's not. It's not like Greg is a saint either.
Everyone is bad.
Everyone is
the thesis of this movie. Everyone's bad.
Even Ronald, the cello instructor.
The cello instructor, bad. Christine Baranski, bad.
Bad.
Bad. Sarah Michelle Gellar, bad.
Bad.
Sebastian, bad. But he comes out scot-free.
Yeah, you have to grade them on a curve. If everyone's bad, then some people have to be good. Because
so Ryan Phillippe, good.
Yeah, good.
It's a math equation. And it's like equal sign Ryan Phillippe, good.
Yeah. Now, the scene when...
We have to go to the real B plot.
Which is
They're trying to sexualize Selma Blair's character real quick.
Uh-huh.
And how is Sarah Michelle Gellar, a.k.a. Catherine, going to do that? We're going to kiss.
A little lesson in the park.
A little lesson in the park. And it was wow. Wow.
It was...
I think it's come to be iconic.
It's funny, though, because, like, what's funny about the scene, the only thing that I could focus on was that Selma Blair was dressed like a child. And Sarah Michelle Gellar was dressed like a woman in her 40s. Like, with, like, this, like, black... It was, like, it was a weird dynamic between the two of them.
It was a very uncomfortable dynamic. I was not psyched about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if women are getting taken advantage of left and right by men, it was that she's also being taken advantage by Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, it's an equal. Everyone's an equal opportunity offender in the movie. Equal opportunity
offender. She's like, Selma Blair's like, I need experience. I'm a little bit confused by the logic of, let's get her sexualized because they want to ruin her. That's it. They want to ruin her reputation in school.
Yeah, because
so she's like, let's get her interested in.
No, because Sarah Michelle Gellar in the beginning says that she last summer was dating this guy who like wouldn't like be her boyfriend, and now he is interested in Selma Blair. So her plan is to have
we're gonna
ruin her so that he comes back to Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah,
that was the motivation.
I'm working backwards, if I'm like, okay, the end game is let's ruin her. Step A to me is not make out with her in a park. But
they're playing the long game.
I guess they were like, okay,
You think that would just be enough?
Yeah.
Someone take a picture of that.
She's ruined.
She's ruined.
It's 99. I mean,
yeah.
It was weird.
After that scene, I did no, I don't know where was the pool that they were doing this nighttime swim. Was that at the mansion?
I was going to ask you, why are they both sleeping in the same house?
Yeah.
She has a bedroom in his summer home, I think.
I think it's her summer home. I think it's her family's summer home, but I don't know why they're both there or why they're listening to Love Fool, but
that was really confusing to me. So like B plot is kind of tied up. Selma makes out with Sarah Michelle Gellar, get her going. Because, don't you practice on your friends when you're trying to learn how to kiss?
In the park.
I'm like, use the wall
on a picnic
or your
blanket.
Fucking arm, bitch.
Yep.
Like everyone else had to. Kiss your hand, okay?
Yeah.
God. But, okay, so you're right. I was going to ask you this. I was going to put it to you.
Yeah.
Why are Ryan Phillippe and Reese Witherspoon in the same home? She seems to have a bedroom in a house, and he's there. And
I didn't know. Again, it's an open door policy. Everyone gets to go into whatever home they want.
Revolving door.
Yeah.
It has to be his home because she comes down in a huff and she's like, don't you know you're playing music in all the rooms of this house? And he goes, no, just yours.
Right. I do think it's her room. I think it's her family's house. If it's not her house, why he's there, I don't know.
How does he have the password to stream the music in her room? How does he have the Sonos?
Unclear.
Password?
But I will say that was a nice backpack that he gave her, and she should have been more grateful.
I was like, is this Prada?
It had her name on it. That's very nice. It's a nice gift.
Yeah, it was a good gift. She's still not totally convinced by him. She comes down. She's like, okay, I will go swimming with you. Goes in her room, changes to her robe, comes back down. He's naked. Inappropriate. I would have left right then and there. But she's like, let's see this through.
She's like, I'm dressed for the pool. I'm getting in the pool.
I'm getting in this pool. I was shook. I was like shocked. I was like, okay, she's going to wrap up her robe and walk right back upstairs. And she takes the robe off and gets in the pool. I was like, okay.
Yeah. The only satisfying part about that is that it really does lead him on, and she rebuffs him right at the right time.
Yeah.
So
she's like, best you can hope for his friends. And you're really pushing that now.
And I think like by this point in the movie, it does really speak to like this idea of this being a star vehicle, because it's really carved out not only these characters, but more so like these public personas for these actors. Like Sarah Michelle Gellar is like definitely being portrayed as like a bitch, and Ryan Phillippe is being portrayed as like a sex symbol, and Reese is being portrayed as like this innocent
virgin.
Yeah,
She's
and like
Sandra. She's Sandra D.
And she's
Reese.
going on to do like Sweet Home Alabama in like 2 years, and
That's
it's like
wild to me.
Right? Wasn't that 2001?
Yeah, Sweet Home Alabama was 2002.
Oh,
she
right.
Really
So it's
does
like
go from teen to like businesswoman,
career
real quick
woman
in Hollywood. They were,
but they're definitely capitalizing on this idea that is presented here as well, like that innocent.
Yeah. She's got pigtails on in every scene. Let's just say that. Come on. She's pigtail braids in every scene. I'm going, if I wore that, people would be like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Well,
You're
I
22.
think not only are these characters so different, but they just don't seem like they're at the same like school age level. Like, could you imagine going into a class as a teacher and having Selma Blair, Reese Witherspoon, and Sarah Michelle Gellar? I'm like, you guys are at really different levels. Like, this is gonna be a really hard time teaching you guys. They're so different.
Sarah Michelle Gellar knew it. She was like, we got to get Selma to catch up.
She's right.
We got to get her to catch up. She's so behind. So let's send Sebastian on her.
That's right.
To assault her.
Yeah.
Casually.
But
yikes. Literally yikes.
But Reese rebuffs him, and I guess we're supposed to cheer, but we're also supposed to be a little bit disappointed because how could she resist him?
Yeah, because he's so sexy.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a split in the audience where people are looking at her being like, she's nuts. I can't believe she's so uptight.
Yeah. Look, stick up her ass. Gets out of the pool without even entertaining the thought.
Yeah.
It really is that. I really am looking for an overarching theory on like the true lies of it all, where it's just like nothing sticks to men. It's all about the woman and how she handles it.
Oh, the movie revolves around how the different characters react to Ryan Phillippe.
Yeah.
And if they do it appropriately or not. Same thing with Selma Blair and the cello instructor guy. It's like, it's all about how she responds to him and her being good or not. And it's like, he was also being inappropriate too. Like, he was hired to be her.
Also, it's like he's at fault 100%.
Right. But the movie
won't have you
begs you not to think that way.
The movie's like, look at her though.
Look at her. But look at her.
Where does she get off wearing a short skirt like that with a koala bear t-shirt? I mean, who wouldn't be able to resist?
Yeah, but Ryan Phillippe retreats. He goes back to the city, and him and Sarah Michelle Gellar, I guess, like they have this weird scene where she's sitting on his lap, and they're talking, and he's massaging her, and they're saying really, really cryptic innuendos.
I'm shocked you're bringing this up.
Which, like, even I had to parse those words, which, like, did make me think, like, wow, if I was 13 watching this movie, I would have understood the mood, but I wouldn't have understood the language.
No, I wouldn't have understood at all.
They're speaking coded. Like, they're not saying what's happening under their clothes. They're speaking around it. And I think you would have a hard time deciphering it.
I think this is where I was like, okay, I think the source material, right? Dangerous liaisons.
Yeah.
I think I'm missing the source material here. I think that
we'll have to watch the original with Glenn Close.
Put your glasses on because we have work to do.
We have work to do. But
I think they were giving a teen spin on a form that I was unfamiliar with. But you're right. It's coded language. It's sexy.
It's sexy.
Real sexy.
But you know what's not sexy?
What?
Email. Because that's for geeks and pedophiles, as they say in the movie. That was my favorite line.
Oh, how the tides have turned.
That was my favorite line in the movie.
I wrote an "Eat me, Sebastian." This moment. Oh my god! I wrote the raunch is shocking. Sebastian's trigger warning is so rapey. It's disgusting.
Well, and this is a weird turn in the movie because now they're like, they're gonna get one over officially on Selma Blair because like
Yeah.
Reese Witherspoon is like not having it. And like
So
this
he goes
is
to
where
pursue her now.
they give Sebastian this throwaway line of like where he's like, don't you realize what we're doing? We're like destroying an innocent girl. And it's like he wouldn't say that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, he wouldn't actually articulate.
Why even put it in there? I don't really remember it even. I'm like,
I think like what they wanted they want you to come around on his side, you know, and to start really liking him. But it just felt so out of character. It's like, he wouldn't say that.
This felt like cumulative curriculum, A Castle for Christmas, where he just gets to act like the worst. And then overnight we have to be like, oh, but he's good. She loves him, so he's good.
And then it spirals into the next scene of where he does what he does with Selma Blair. And he gets her drunk and...
the tea from Long Island.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, yummy.
And he gets her drunk. There's photos taken. There's...
more blackmail set up. Photos. Takes advantage of her, but she liked it.
Oh. What's hard is that, like... a movie...
The movie says that, not me.
Right. Like...
I'm not saying that.
Like, these are things that actually happen. So I think... they can be in movies, but it's like, it was so uncomfortable to watch because it was very much playing it for laughs. Because what doesn't help,
how dumb she is.
Right. Because what doesn't help is her character, like, is so goofy. And again, it doesn't make it right, but it adds to like a slapsticky tone.
Yeah.
Where it's like she's fumbling all over herself.
Yeah, he finishes. They sleep together. I'm pretty positive. And there's a bowl of cherries, maraschino cherries, on the night table, and she bites one. And she's falling off the bed left and right. She's flipping. She's falling, and he's like, "Ugh, bitch, I've got work to do." Like, he's shuffling papers. Like, he's
not into it.
All of a sudden, he's a businessman.
Yeah, he's business. He's all
got
business.
Bills to pay or something, and they're in bed, very much doing that, like like that tropey after times chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's flipping papers, going like, bitch, I don't have time for you. I know I've just taken absolutely everything you have to give, but I'm also busy.
Literally.
And she's fumbling and falling, and we're supposed to be screaming with laughter.
We're supposed to be.
And I wrote supposed to be in my notes.
So thankfully that scene ends, and then we get a little reprieve at the retirement home where Ryan Phillippe is manipulating an elderly woman.
Yeah, we played backgammon. It was great.
I won 6 times.
And I kind of thought, good for him. He preyed on her inability to remember.
He did, and I agree with you. This is the first scene where I'm like, that's a plan.
Agree. First scene.
This
where
took
I'm like,
some
I can see
thinking.
That.
Yeah. And it felt harmless. I know, obviously, elder abuse.
I know it's rude, but it largely felt harmless because she wouldn't remember.
She wouldn't remember.
She wouldn't remember anyway. Now, he is being manipulative.
Sure.
Sure.
But I think she had a great day. The woman seemed like she probably smiled the rest of the day.
She thinks she had a great day.
Yeah, and that's all that really matters, I guess.
At the end of the day, all we have is that.
Yeah.
The memory of a great day.
Exactly.
Yeah. Annette, Reese... Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to, take us through, they get stuck volunteering at some old folk home.
Yeah.
And then he manipulates this poor old woman, and this really gets Reese Witherspoon kind of endeared to him.
Yeah, and it carries over into the next scene where they're, driving in the car, and, they're flirting, and, it's very clear... there's some interest.
This is where the filmmakers got lucky, is what I'm gonna say. They are so lucky those two have that chemistry.
Yeah, it definitely, it's electric. It jumps off the screen. They're touching each other, but it feels very mature compared to the rest of the movie. So it's actually kind of refreshing.
It's refreshing. It's nice. She's being goofy.
Yeah.
He's actually genuinely laughing. You do feel like you're getting a peek behind the curtain on their real life relationship, or at least I felt that way.
Yeah, at least the first steps.
They are so goddamn lucky. That's all I have to say.
Lightning
like,
in a
they're
bottle.
lucky that
Yeah.
that is what was committed to film.
Yeah, they should have put him in Sweet Home Alabama instead of that other guy.
Would have loved it.
Would have loved it.
I want to see if he still does that mouth acting that he's doing. I would love to see him drop it.
Yeah, maybe something different, but
It's like a lot of like pursed lips. Not into it.
No.
It's like fuckboy
But-
energy.
So I guess at this point we're supposed to just be like, okay, they actually like each other. And then it's like we still have to wrap up the Selma Blair awkward storyline with what's her name, Sarah Michelle Gellar, where they have to debrief what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And
she's like, he took advantage of me. Sarah Michelle Gellar's like, are you sure?
she was like, it sounds like you really liked it.
Because it sounds like you enjoyed yourself. And Sarah and like Selma Blair's like, well, you're right.
Literally. She's
Wrap
like,
it up.
okay, I see your point and I accept it. And now that's my point of view. I actually had a really good time.
10 years later in therapy, Selma Blair's unpacking that moment.
Literally. So
Don't
it's
mean
like,
to laugh at people's trauma. I'm just saying.
oh, it was like, okay, at least
gonna
we can,
happen.
we can finally put that scene to rest. And then luckily Ryan and Reese, they well, he comes in and he's like actually kind of mad at her. Remember he was like, I
I'm trying to get
can't.
there.
Well, remember he like says to her like, you're making me feel so inadequate when she like won't like give over the goods to him.
Put out.
Yeah. And like
Yeah,
it definitely
more guilt laying on thick.
Yeah, because I think like what they're communicating is that like what Ryan Phillippe has inferred wrongly is that they're in love, but like Reese Witherspoon's character is just like, no, like I like you. And like
Yeah.
that they're in the 90s, like it was very much like that shift. You went very quickly from liking someone to loving them
Yeah, in a scene.
in a
usually.
scene. And like he went
Yeah.
on the journey, but she didn't yet. And he's so pissed.
I mean, having kind of forgotten the plot to this movie, which I'm a little bit thankful for, at that point in the movie, I'm sitting there going, okay, how are they really going to make this okay? Like, how are they going to make the audience feel
Yeah.
all right about this? And I'm sort of waiting for him to admit that it was all a bet and her go, well, I still love you. Or I'm sort of waiting for him to go, no, I can't sleep with you because I actually have feelings for you, and run away tearfully. Like
Yeah.
you're kind of expecting here for him, like you said in the beginning, no one's going to change in this movie.
No,
But
no growth.
The tropey thing to do here is have him change. Have him, or
Oh, yeah.
do sleep with her and then run back to Sarah Michelle Gellar and like lie about it and say, no, we didn't. And
Yeah.
here, you can have my Roadster. I don't even
Yeah.
want it.
Yeah.
But none of those things happen.
No, instead
He just
we're
takes.
we're actually meant to feel sorry for him. And we're going to feel really, really annoyed at Reese for making him feel this way.
Yeah.
And
He's between a rock and a hard place.
yeah, she kicks him out essentially after he has his like temper tantrum. And then
Yeah.
he's like on the lookout for her because he wants to show her just how sad he is. And I actually did like the scene. I was like, first of all, whoever made the movie has never been to Penn Station, because that is not what it looks like when you come out of the escalators at Penn Station. When
Is that
she
what it
comes,
was?
yeah, because
Okay, I was not.
he
paying
talks to Greg, and he's like, have you heard from her yet? Like, where is she? And he
Mhm.
was like, yeah, I just heard she's on a train right now to Penn Station. And he waits for her at the top of the escalator, and she comes up.
I'm listening to you right now as if you're telling me a story that I have never heard before.
Okay, yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened in the movie. That's the
Erased.
plot. So
Maybe I clicked out of the browser at that moment and like went shopping. Whoops.
yeah, no, she like comes up the escalator, and he's like giving her puppy dog eyes,
Yeah.
and
This is when they realize they love each other. Both
Yeah.
of them, right?
she's super impressed by his
just
his-
showing up.
and I'm sure in the theater we could all relax because she's she's given us what she wanted. She apologized to him essentially.
Thank God, because she really owed it to him.
She really owed it
say
to him,
sorry.
and now we can relax because they are in
Fixed.
love.
Yep. And that's when they do go back to someone's house. Don't know whose. Someone's apartment. His, maybe.
I think it's his, because we don't see her apartment until the very end.
Yeah. So they go back to his place and they try to make a very steamy, romantic, earnest love scene, is what I'm calling it.
Yeah.
There's no goof. There's no camp.
No, it's
they
very.
want you to be like, this is real. This is real love.
This is real, and for sure, like this was not like the scene with Selma Blair. This is real. It's also even more, and we've actually sort of like
It's
we're
also
actually pretty close.
consensual.
Well, yeah, it's consensual. We're actually like pretty close to the end, and what's funny is that we sort of skipped over the other plot, which was Selma
Oh my
Blair,
God, Selma Blair loving.
her cello instructor Ronald,
Yeah.
and well, actually no, we sort of talked about it, but
Yeah, they're trying to frame her the whole. That's B plot is ruin Selma Blair's life, right? And
Yeah.
the whole movie, they are trying to like build her up, get her
Yeah.
to say things, and she's like, "Oh, I have love letters from him. Where are they? In my dollhouse." Sarah Michelle Gellar immediately has her people go confiscate those letters, leak
confiscate
them, to Mom.
them, give them to Christine Baranski, and Christine
Christine
Baranski's
Baranski.
not mad that she's having an affair with her cello teacher. She's
Nope.
mad that he's black. That's the problem. So
Casual racism
yeah,
in the 90s.
casual racism, and
Casual homophobia.
I guess what I didn't see coming was I didn't see the scene where Ryan Phillippe storms in on his sister only to find Ronald being stored in the trundle bed underneath. I
they
did
were
not.
sleeping. They were having sex. Yeah.
Yeah, after after Sarah Michelle Gellar gets Ronald out of Selma Blair's life, and
Out of
then
her
she starts having a relationship with him. I just didn't understand.
I'm like, this is overkill, you guys. You've done enough. Sit back and watch.
Right. I was just sort of like, wait, huh?
It's just these two take whatever they want whenever they want,
Yeah.
and it's very much motivated by hurt you.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hurt you. So at this rate, I think Sarah Michelle Gellar's just sleeping with the cello instructor just to hurt Selma Blair, right? Just to
Probably.
make her sad.
Yeah. I
Oh
think
my
that's right.
God. I think they're
But-
just trying to make us believe Sarah Michelle Gellar is somehow the worst character.
I think
of the
so, but I
two.
will say by this point in the movie, in the way that everyone in the movie is overacting, I think that Sarah Michelle Gellar is doing the best job with the overacting. Like, she actually
wrote
looks like
that.
she's having a good time, and like I feel like she's enjoying it in a way that I don't know if like I don't see the same joy from like Ryan Phillippe's performance. Like, he's doing something else, like overacting, but like
Yeah.
Sarah Michelle Gellar is giving me like I guess what Emma Roberts would give us in like
yeah, good comparison.
it's the very same energy.
It's good. Sarah Michelle Gellar, I wrote, is the secret MVP of this movie.
Oh, for sure.
She actually, now in 2022, I might consider her like the breakout. Like, she's the kind of the star for me in this. She's taking it seriously, and she crafted a character.
Yeah.
Whereas I really didn't see Ryan Phillippe craft a character. It felt like he was just doing douchebag. And then Reese Witherspoon is doing her public persona.
Yeah, she's doing
which is
innocent
no one's
stuff.
fault. It's not her fault. Like, that's just what her thing, for better or worse,
Yeah.
became. But Sarah Michelle Gellar is doing amazing work in this movie.
Yeah, and I like this scene because she like tempts Ryan Phillippe, and then she gets him to break up, if they were even dating, with Reese Witherspoon, all in like one scene, and he like goes and does it. And I was like, in that scene I was like, yes, like that to me is more.
She took back the power.
She took back the power, and I was like, that is what someone in high school would do. Like, that to me felt real. Like, that is something that happens where you hear something from somebody and they convince you to break up with somebody, and then you go and do it.
Yeah, you see it in a moment, like, wash over him. She's like, well, I've got all this blackmail, this notebook of his conquests that he's keeping,
Yeah.
which is very artistic for someone of his IQ level. I guess
Yeah.
he's smart. But she's like, you've slept with Annette now, but you love her, but I'm going to go ruin you. And it's like a very much like you said in the beginning, it's like reputations in high school.
Yeah. Otherwise you're done.
Yeah. So, and he immediately goes and breaks up with Reese Witherspoon.
Immediately.
On his stepsister's manipulation. And I'm like, good job. Good job, Sarah Michelle Gellar. You did your job there.
Exactly.
You pushed him to go do that. And we needed to see it. Because it is a movie about power. Love and power and seduction.
What's weird though is that again, like there's this big business about diaries and what people write down in the movie. And again, like she uses that to get him to break up with Reese. But then Reese Witherspoon becomes, after they break up, she becomes even more endeared to him by reading his diary. But I was just like, what could be? I was like, I think there probably isn't much good things in there. I would think they'd be pretty bad.
So confused at that moment because they don't show you too many pages from this diary. Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like the diary tells the truth about Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
That she's a bitch and a manipulator and they had a pact. And it seems like you can see Annette's page in there where he goes after her. What are the other 60-something pages?
I don't think it can't be favorable.
It can't. It can't.
She was selectively reading. She must have been.
Oh, they all were. I feel like they should have done the Mean Girls status on it and just made flyers of only the select pages. Because the fact that she had the whole manifesto in that ending scene too, I'm like, is this a book of like everyone he's ever slept with? Like everyone he's ever done wrong? It seemed like he was such a sociopath that he kept a book of his conquests. Right or wrong. So I'm like, there's at least 50 other pages in that book filled with not great conquests. And
not just names, but like pretty disparaging character descriptions of these people. So
side notes, footnotes.
But again, I don't think that that's the message. I think what they wanted you to think is like, oh, look how sensitive he is. He has a diary and it's probably really sweet. But
and
there's
she's like,
no
wow,
way.
Now I have the truth.
And then she's like, okay, gotta get him back. Gotta get this guy.
So he gives her the book to get her back.
Yeah.
Confusing.
But by the end, when they converge on the street, I was just confused why they're fighting. Wait, why is Ryan Phillippe fighting with Ronald? Isn't that who he's fighting with at the end?
I forgot the ending of this.
Okay, I have to look up the Wikipedia.
Yeah, get on the Wikipedia. We'll cut the dead air. Fill in some blanks for me because at this rate...
Okay, Ronald starts a fist fight with Sebastian after Catherine tells him that Sebastian hit her and violated Cecile. Okay, that's right. So she walks out and Ronald... Because, again, and this is where it really magnified to me is like, why is Ronald still here? Because, like, Ronald starts a fight with him. Yeah.
In the bed. Sarah Michelle Gellar calls him up and she's like, oh my God. After he stormed out, she's like, Sebastian hit me.
Right.
I guess he cares about her enough to come help her out. I mean, I guess you always want a man to come help you.
He stands up for her and they start fist fighting in the streets.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, we really haven't spent enough time with Ronald to know him or I guess what I'm trying to say is that when you're watching this fist fight between Ronald and Ryan Phillippe, you're only rooting for Ryan Phillippe. Like there's no Ronald fans who are like, get him, Ronald. Like it's pretty clear who you're rooting for.
He was there for like the slapstick of it all also, I think, which I don't know if you are taking Sarah Michelle Gellar at face value that she was struck by her stepbrother Sebastian, you have to be Team Ronald in that. But we're not. We're going Sebastian.
If I was Ronald and I heard that, I would have said, okay, well, did you tell your parents? Because it's like, it's not my
punchline of the podcast.
That's not my responsibility.
Did you call the cops?
Did you call the cops? Did you tell your parents? Like, who knows? Like, thank you for telling me.
Making bad decisions.
It's vigilante justice in the streets. Ronald is hitting Sebastian, and
vigilante justice is very Star Vehicle-y.
Very Star Vehicle.
We've been seeing it a lot.
Yeah, and Reese jumps in the melee to who knows what, and she gets pushed into the street. A taxi cab is coming, and before she is run over, Ryan Phillippe pushes her out of the way, sacrificing himself in the process. The best thing he could have ever done for his reputation. Yeah.
Die for Reese Witherspoon.
Dies for Reese right after he, for the first time, is actually in love. Like, this is crushing news for the teens in the audience.
Yeah, because okay, so after Sarah Michelle Gellar, like frames Sebastian, Ryan Felipe knows he's got to go and like tearfully break up with Reese, right? Is that when they have that tearful slap scene?
Right. That's before, and then she's basically running to like get back together with him
Yeah.
in this moment.
I
You're right.
guess
The last time they've seen is when they were like,
Yeah, for our listeners at home, I feel like we glazed over an important fight scene where we're also supposed to be endeared to him, where to save her, he's like, I never liked you, I never cared about you, I got to break up with you. And she's like, I don't believe you. And then we feel like we're watching real Ryan Felipe and real Reese Witherspoon because she slaps him.
slaps him across the face.
I don't believe you, Sebastian.
Yeah. So it's like the moment when they are connecting in the street was like when they were going to forgive each other for everything and like really, and be back on board with each other because she, loved his diary. So it's extra sad.
She loved his sad book.
She loved the diary, but it's so sad.
Pretty on brand for this podcast is we don't care about the order of the scenes. We just want to make sure we talk about them.
Doesn't matter.
So we like to just put them in a little shaker cup and shake them all up for you.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
And he's dead. So now he's dead.
And he's dead.
And
I was shocked. I forgot the ending.
I forgot it too.
I gasped.
At this point, I was like, honestly, it should have been Ronald because we don't know Ronald. And
Easy.
Whatever. It's better that way. But now is it the next when they're at like the memorial service?
So now it's like the school year has begun, I feel like.
Okay, so this all took place over like one hot summer before school.
Yeah, it was a sexy summer.
Okay, got it.
That was the pact. The pact was sleep with Annette by the end of the summer or I get your car.
Yeah.
And so they're at school now doing the memorial and I'm like, he's dead?
Yeah, he's dead. And the bathroom scene where Reese Witherspoon and Sarah Michelle Gellar meet is honestly the best scene in the movie. Like seeing the two of them interact.
Loved it. Could have used more of that girl boss.
Yeah, I was like, why are we so scared to put our girls together in a scene? Like, I wish we would have
petrified.
Wish we would have gotten more of that energy of like the two of them, because like
it is electric because we realize in real time, because I did and I know you did, that they've never met. The whole movie they haven't met. They've
never met, and it's funny though because this also read very high school to me, where you are keeping things to yourself even though both people know like what's going on. Like they both knew all the information and they were holding their cards to their chest for like power stuff, which is it felt very of the age for them.
I like that. I liked it a lot.
It felt like for the first time they were acting like kids. Like they were acting
like real teens.
Yeah, they're acting like teens. So I appreciated that.
It's like, oh, do I know you? No, we've never met. What?
And
you've stalked their whole Insta feed.
Literally.
That kind of energy.
Oh, you did that over the summer? Oh, interesting.
So deep dive on their Facebook page from 2006.
Yeah, literally. And then Sarah Michelle Gellar gives her eulogy and people start getting up and leaving during it, which I thought was good. And I thought her acting was really good where she sort of like sobs the line.
Yeah, she's like got a real, they only say it like once and it is hard to glean because we're never really seeing her in this light. We're only seeing manipulative Sarah Michelle Gellar, but she does say that she has this reputation of being the good one, like the goody two shoes. She's like,
I'm the Marsha Brady of the Upper East Side.
Yes, she's got this reputation as Marsha Brady of the Upper East Side. So when, the whole movie, when Christine Baranski is like, we really respect you, we want you to help my daughter, blah, blah, blah. That is who she is to the school and to the adults of the school, whom you may never get an opinion from. And
what feels like the whole city. Like everyone believes she's a good person.
Yeah. They're like,
all 10 of the people that live there.
Sarah Michelle Gellar for mayor. You have all 10 of our votes.
Literally. So
they leave and we get outside and what has been copied and reproduced and bound?
Well, the Selma Blair printing house has put together her diary and they are spreading it around. And What's weird about this scene, though, is...
Wait, it's Sebastian's diary.
Sebastian's, yeah.
Yeah,
Is
that
it? Yeah.
has been bound and released.
Yeah.
Who released it? I thought Annette did.
Yeah, I think Annette does too, but I mean, just Selma Blair is the one that like hands it to her. Like,
oh, you called it the Selma Blair printing press because it just makes the most sense that she would have one.
Yeah, it would make the most sense.
Got it.
And
got it. I'm following.
I think what's weird is that I don't know if I 100% believe that Reese Witherspoon's character would do this, because then in the very next scene, and this made no sense at all. She has his car.
Yeah.
How?
She has no legal claim to this car.
To his car.
Did he write a will? Did he know he was going to sacrifice himself in Central Park that day?
Unless like
she stole
it, or, which I don't believe, Sarah Michelle Gellar gave it to her as some sort of like consolation prize. It just didn't really make a lot of sense because her parents weren't even in New York City at that point. His parents never met her. So like they wouldn't give it to her.
You're like concerned with the legalities.
Yeah, like how did she get it?
How'd she get it?
It was very weird. I mean, you watch it and you go, "Oh, right. That's his car. Of course she has it."
It was a movie symbol. They just wanted the bookend of, in the opening shot, we see Sebastian driving it with the book on the passenger seat going to therapy. And they wanted to bookend it with Annette driving away from the city, book in the seat. Right. Now, I have a couple of theories. It could have been a reference to that source material that we have not studied.
Yeah, we haven't read the book yet.
So who knows? But you're right. She has no claim to this car whatsoever. It would be very weird of her to have it, and we know she wouldn't steal it because it's not Annette.
It's not Annette. So it was.
Imagine his dying words
strange.
Were like, "You get the roadster."
You get the roadster.
Because you know how right before it cuts to black and we find out he's dead, he says something to her. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I love you.
But it was just, I was like, huh? So it was just a funny way to end the movie, because you could very easily watch that scene and be like, of course she has the car. And then you could also watch him be like, wait, why does she have the car?
There is like two readings on it.
There's two distinct ways of watching the ending.
You know, this movie is a throw your hands up and surrender. A white flag, Dido.
No,
movie.
It's not Ditto.
It's Dido, right?
I think so.
It is, I throw my hands up in surrender. There will be no white flag upon my door. And so I'm surrendering to the experience. So you're right. Reading number 1, of course she has the car. Of course.
Yeah.
Reading number 2. How'd she get the car?
But you know what it is? It's like, I think this goes back to my original thing that I was talking about how I enjoyed the movie, is that like, this was what teens would do if they were left to their own devices. And it was like
unlimited resources.
Unlimited resources. They just people act irrationally and they do whatever they want. And I remember sitting in the cafeteria in high school, and we had very long tables where like it would be like, I don't know, 40 people at a table.
Yeah, banquet style. Yep.
Yeah, banquet seating. So
Great
you would invariably sit with people at your long table who you weren't there to dine with. You know what I mean? Like there were just like different groups at the long table. And I remember one day I would always pack my lunch because I didn't like ever want the school food.
Hot lunch is disgusting.
There was a group next to us of all girls one day. And I remember they all sat down and they all got the food of the day, which was like whatever, nachos. It was nachos, actually. And
sounds like a trauma. Sounds like you remember the nachos.
I remember, because this is what helped me understand the movie, is this moment in my life.
Let's hear it.
Let's say there's 4 girls. This is a true story. 4 girls there. They all put their nachos down. 3 of them get up and decide they need something else. Like, I guess they forgot their drink or whatever.
Like a fruit punch.
Yeah. And one girl stays. And the one girl, instead of starting to eat her nachos, goes over to the other girl's nachos and starts eating theirs while they're gone.
Good
idea. And then when they come back down, when the girls come back, I said something to the other girls. I was like, do you know that she ate your food while you were gone? And she was so mad at me. And I realize now that I'm just like, that is what this movie is. It's like when no one's around, you will just give into your worst impulses.
Yeah.
And like, and then when people call you out on it, they're not mad that like they got caught, or rather they're mad they got caught. They're not disappointed in their own behavior.
No.
So
they're
like
fine with their behavior.
That nacho moment in my life is what helped me understand the movie, you know?
Oh my God. That's a good little allegory, I'm gonna call it. I don't know. Yeah. A little comparison. I love that.
Yeah. Like she would never behave that way if she knew she was being watched.
Exactly right. If we had
and by rights, and like she actually didn't really need the nachos. You know what I mean?
No, she had her own.
She had her own. Fine. It was just because she could take them.
She could.
That she did, and she knew that no one was watching.
Yeah. I mean, I've been responsible for the family McDonald's before, and I'm recklessly reaching my hand in that
little bag fry action.
And I'm pulling from my sister's fry.
Exactly. So it's like that to me is like the beating heart of the movie, is like that teenage push to see what you can get away with. And in that way, I think the movie is really successful, because it is really just about like how far can you push things as a teen, because it's not until you like run up against those boundaries that you realize where the boundaries are. So like, wow, this is you watch it and you're like, their behavior is disgusting and it is horrible, but probably most people would do the same thing in their circumstances.
Yeah, it's like a heightened version of what would happen.
Yeah.
But I'm so there for it. And it really is, now that I'm thinking back, of the time, right? Like it's very Heathers. It's dark. It's like Mark Waters, Heathers. There's what was the other one? Oh my God, The Craft.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very specific look at high school too.
Behaving badly.
Yeah, that I think was dying out a little bit as well. Like, I think it was also on its way out, this notion of high school as what was described in some of these movies.
Yeah, it was just, it did give me a wrong impression of high school, I'll be honest. By the time we got to high school, it wasn't like that, and I don't think it ever was, let's be honest, but you just thought high school really was a more cutthroat spot, and it was just people who just didn't care.
Yeah.
It's like a lot less caring.
A lot less caring.
The stakes in these movies.
A lot less caring, and
high school, man.
High school.
High school. There's so much more authority in high school, by the way. Like 100% more.
You're constantly being watched.
You can't pee without asking.
And you have to carry a piece of paper that lets everyone know that you're going to the bathroom.
Yeah, or a stick of wood with a keychain on it.
Humiliating.
It's public humiliation to the nth degree.
And guess what?
Asking for permission in high school.
And you hate those things in the moment, but then you realize those are just safety guards to keep everyone's arms and legs in the boat at all times.
We lost our privileges of going to the bathroom anonymously because there was like stuff going down in the bathrooms and graffiti and whatnot. So not only did you have to carry the pass out, you just sign in.
Yeah.
Did you have to sign into the bathroom?
Yeah, exactly.
So they knew exactly who went in at what time.
Yeah.
And they knew how long you spent in there, which is not fun. That's not fun. Nobody wants that.
Exactly.
Nobody wants that kind of check.
That kind of check is invasive, but you know.
Say
look what would happen if they didn't have those checks and balances.
Quite actually, look what would happen. Because you don't want teens with chemical imbalances running the school, running the roost like that. Nope.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess the only thing I wanted to say is, so we're pinning the whole movie on Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like he's kind of irrelevant
for me. I think that the more interesting are Sarah Michelle Gellar, who I think delivers the best performance, and Reese Witherspoon, who for good or bad, I think comes out of this with the public's appreciation,
adoration,
and it comes through with what we saw in Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah. Went into this movie ready to analyze it as a Reese Witherspoon vehicle, which it is. I mean, she was asked.
She gets the vehicle.
Yeah. She does get the vehicle. Reese was asked to do the part, and it's perfect for her.
Perfect.
I stayed for Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, for sure.
And at the time, I feel like she's Buffy, right? Or in Buffy, the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah,
She's big. She's big at this point.
Yeah, she's a star.
Arguably, maybe more of the draw because Reese hasn't done her.
No, I mean, if you look at the
romps
credits,
yet.
the credits has Ryan Phillippe and Sarah Michelle Gellar as the top build.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, yet again, another movie where nothing sticks to our main man.
Except a car.
Yeah, except the pavement at Central Park when he dies. Nothing sticks to men, man, and it's just maybe it's not for this pod, okay? Maybe I gotta go put this in my own diary. Let's be honest. Maybe this is for my book.
Yeah, it's for your book.
I'm boring you guys at this point.
You're boring us.
It's when women hate themselves. I gotta say it. When women hate themselves, female identifying individuals hate themselves in this country, I understand why. I understand
because of source material like this.
The source, Adam and Eve, they're just saying, your fault.
Yeah.
Your fault.
Well, in this case.
What did you do to make him like that, you insane bitch who does cocaine and they found it in the cross necklace?
That was a nice place to store it. But
very unsuspecting. Loved it.
Anyway, that's our movie.
That's our movie. We hope you loved that. I thought that was fun to talk about. Oof. Wow.
Yeah. I'm sure if you have seen the movie like a million times, you're like, okay, I get it. Like, I got the plot. I don't understand how you had so much confusion. But I think if you put yourself in our position where we've only seen it once, you would understand how confused we were.
I think you need to put yourselves in our shoes and be a little bit understanding.
Something the movie is all about is understanding someone else's perspective.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that, if you don't get it, it might be your fault. Yeah. So, like, if you don't understand our confusion, look at yourself and make sure that you're remaining open. That's all we ask. Just be open.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Whew. So, yeah, nothing else to say about Cruel Intentions. Undoubtedly one of the more sexy things we've covered on the pod.
Yeah, we'll put in the sexy basket.
This is in the sexy playlist.
Yeah.
So, not safe for work.
Yeah.
And NSFW.
Yeah.
And Selma would go on to do The Sweetest Thing, which makes a lot of sense in terms of raunch factor.
Yeah.
Especially when she's like doing a split in front of a man's face.
That was funny.
So gross. I was like, ew, close your legs.
Okay. Anyway.
All right. Well, don't forget to rate, review, you guys. Share this with a friend. Let us know that you love it. Meet us on TikTok. Download us on Apple Pods. And I mean, Steven.
What?
Oh, I was just going to say goodbye.
Oh, goodbye.
That was my setup for bye.
Oh, bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.